Hi all, this is Alex with the channel Antiques and Learning to Live. So I put together just a smidgen of the clock collection. They tend to breed like wildfire, like the antique fans I collect. So I'll be honest, out of all the clocks I have, I'm going to say Ingram between 1880s and 1920s are probably my favorite clocks, just for the mere fact that I don't have to sell my car and walk the streets to go to work. So we'll make this short and sweet. Each individual clock will have its own video in the future if it has not already done so, or if the video was very naive before AB at Time for Clocks. That's Time, the number 4, Clocks, on YouTube helped identify certain issues. Particularly, this Marbolite number 11 had the wrong hands. That's been rectified. It's the only one there that's not a porcelain dial or has been repapered. Now these two originally had Roman numeral dials. This is an Arabic dial, and that is the original, what they called like a celluloid paper type deal. This French Japy Ferrez, or whatever it's called, has a porcelain dial. And I've got a movement with an open escapement with 2 good barrel springs, runs great. And eventually I'm going to convert that over because beautiful work all the way around. The granite, no chips, nothing anywhere. And I should note that this grouping, because of the cheap shelf, does not have any of the Ansonia clocks present, nor does it have any of the kitchen clocks present. The closest thing to a kitchen clock may be this parlor style clock, but that's not a typical kitchen clock. It has a solid brass dial, an ornate pendulum, and a tiny little window that is just a very interesting feature. This French Japys, the quality is outstanding. I will say one thing, French movements are more finicky and less reliable than American movements after the 100+ years of use, of course. So this is a Sessions time-only beehive, and that's a Japys time-only slate and granite. That thing has to weigh 45 pounds. And like I said, this is the Marbolite number 11. Absolutely beautiful clock. And this here is my new favorite. And ever since AB pulled out one that was completely and utterly dilapidated out of a drawer, I said that is one of the prettiest clocks I've ever encountered. So I went on the hunt, found the model number, the Ingram Pearl, made from the 1890s to the early 1900s. And this example was outfitted with a 1903 movement. So that dates it to 1903, no doubt. However, when I was going to do the rebuild on the movement, I don't mind rebushing 1, 2, 3, or 4. This one, wiggle, 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 and that's a good steel shaft there. Wiggly, 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 and wiggle, 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 and the back is not much better. So this is just a reference frame from now on. This was just to see if I could get the pallet strap to work properly and get the movement to run. Just in the meantime, I had stuck a 1922 Ingram movement, which is nearly identical. Now, one thing an astute clockmaker is going to observe is this 1922, which is October 22, has the very much earlier bent wire engagement and bent wire hammer. Now, why did I go about doing this? Well, for one, I wanted the bell feature, and the press joints for all the newer types were all stripped out. I tried soldering them, and it worked okay, but there's supposed to be a little bit of slippage that helps the clock work properly. So I drilled out multiple holes for larger arbors, especially for the mechanism here. And the movement works flawlessly. And here we go. Should be 11. Apologies, that was 12. That's my fault. I got to tighten this nut just a little bit more, but everything's in perfect working order, even the warning. And hand straight up, and then hand straight down for the bell, which took about an hour of configuring all this mess up in here. So that's my backup movement. So I managed to score a 1904 movement with absolutely no wear except in the front pivot of the escapement, which I just used an outboard bushing, and I know clockmakers look down on that. However, there's no physics reason that that should ever be problematic. And I'm fairly happy with it. Can always be undone and new bushing pressed in, but I doubt that'll ever happen. I'll probably die, and I'm only 37 before any of these clocks start go kaput. So anyway, last rundown. 1890s Ingram parlor clock, brass dial, ornate pendulum. This is going to be 1860s, 1880s French slate with granite inlay. And this is going to probably be 1910 to 1920 sessions, time only, repapered with the Union Station dial, just as a reminder of when I lived in New York City. And this is the Marbalite number 11, the 1890s, and this is the 1890s to early 1900s Ingram Pearl. And this is your classic black mantle clock. I just wanted one fine example. And this happens to be the model Centaur. The only difference being the Centaur in the magazine does not have these specific ornaments, which doesn't make a difference because the sheer number that were produced, they would have had to have made alterations at some point. So anyway, I hope this was a nice teaser video, and each one of these that has not had a video made before, I am looking forward to sharing these with you immensely, because in the end, all we have is time. Anyway, my name is Alex, and this is Antiques and Learning to Live. Please subscribe if you don't mind. You don't have to hit the notification bell, but that'd be cool too. If those things kind of bug you, if you could hit it, that'd be pretty awesome too. I'm trying to build a channel up, and pretty soon going to start getting into the antique fans and use the same format for those. So everybody, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I'll see you around the corner.